Hello and welcome to the Coming of Cage podcast, your Nicolas Cage movie review podcast. I'm Derek, and that is Ryan.
It is. And we're here tonight to talk about a real banger of a movie, a Nicolas Cage movie. A movie starring Nicolas Cage called, Derek, what's it called?
Running with the Devil.
I did notice that you had to look at your screen
Well,
to remember what it was called.
no, there's a tagline on it. It's called Running with the Devil, but the tagline is two runners, one mission, zero chance.
Which doesn't really reflect the movie
At all.
At all.
I don't know.
First of all, there's only two runners for like 10% of the movie. Otherwise, there's more than that or less.
I don't know, man.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So the synopsis on IMDb, I don't think really does this justice either. The CEO of an international conglomerate sends two of his most regarded executives to investigate why shipments of cocaine are being hijacked and overcut somewhere on the supply chain. So it's really like a supply chain movie. It's really
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't remember what the tagline was. So when we were watching the movie, I was really trying to figure out the plot because for the first like 30 or 20 minutes of the movie, it's just like nonsensical random plot points across the world that don't really relate to each other, except in the most loose of circumstance. But we'll get into that. So if you haven't listened to this podcast before, you picked a real winner. Usually the way these work is that I take notes throughout the movie as to plot points or just funny things that happen or funny lines or just, whatever. And then we go through those and discuss them. And Derek tries to figure out what I meant by it's kind of a little fun game we play. What did Ryan mean by this note?
sometimes they're easier than others.
Yeah, there's been times when I've stumped him, but he usually pulls through for me.
Thank you. I try.
And so, yeah, the right out of the gate on this movie, normally we count the number of title sequences that they have because sometimes they're so indie or direct to video that they have 12 different production companies involved. This one only had two, and one of them was Nic's production company, the Saturn Pictures or whatever it is.
Saturn Films, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we only got two. No big deal there. Right away, we see a naked guy with his bag over his head on the floor next to a toilet, having something sprayed on him. Water, maybe, I don't know. Vinegar, could be anything.
Yeah,
Some sort of
that's
clear
never clear.
liquid.
Yeah.
And it's unimportant, but I mean, other than going, why are they spraying this guy? I assumed it was just water to like make him cold since he's basically naked.
Yeah, I figured, or it was water to wake him up.
Yeah,
If he had
could
been
be.
passed out or something. I mean, I don't know. For initially, I thought maybe it was going to be like lye spray, but it wasn't that either. So I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, some guy goes into this bathroom and pulls him up off the floor where there's some blood. We don't really know from what. And then he gets dragged outside to this very elaborate setup of like pallets all in a circle with a metal X in the middle that they attach his chain to. But the way they attach it makes it seem like he could just like lift his arms up over the top.
Yeah, I guess the idea is he's just like so physically broken at this point, he doesn't have the energy to.
See, I thought maybe there's a chain down below. We're led to believe there's a chain or something down below he's chained to, because I can't imagine they put all this work into this just to have him do that. But yeah, there's a stack of pallets literally right in front of this X, and they light it on fire, and it seems like it's implied that he's being cooked alive.
Right.
And then it cuts. It cuts to a scene of someone who we can't see. And this is like a 5-minute continuous shot from the viewpoint of someone's butt. Like literally you're just watching someone's butt and lower back, walking through what appears to be some sort of club. Hallways, kitchen, the dance floor for several minutes. And they eventually, whoever it is, we don't see who it is, walks over to this couple of women and shakes a little baggie of drugs at them. And then they take the drugs, and now we're following those women
Right.
to the bathroom where they go to presumably use the drugs.
Yeah, it's cocaine for those playing at home. Um, and yeah, we get to watch them do cocaine in the bathroom.
So just to keep track, we've seen the scene of the guy getting set up to be burned alive.
Uh-huh.
Now we cut to a scene of a random guy walking through a club with cocaine
Uh-huh.
and giving it to a couple people. Now, of course, we're going to cut to Bolivia. Is that where it was?
Colombia?
Colombia, maybe?
Parts
That
of
would make
Colombia.
sense.
It was in South America. It moves around a lot. We get a lot of different locations in this movie. I believe, if I recall, it was Colombia. I didn't make a note about it, but
Yeah. So now we're in some South American city where a little girl is going to school in pajamas.
oh
Oh
no,
no, this is different. This is
she's
different.
still in
This
the
is in
States.
America.
Yeah,
This is in
she's
America. A little girl is looks unkempt, hasn't brushed her hair or anything, makes her
well,
own breakfast.
right. We see her. Yeah, exactly. She gets her own breakfast. She's watching TV.
Yeah, and she goes to the bus in her full pajamas, but like ready for school other than that, with a jacket and a backpack, and tells the bus driver that they wouldn't wake up.
It's so sad. Like of in the movie doesn't really do much for me emotionally, except this bit. This bit's just because like this kid's like trying to go to school. She makes herself breakfast. She's trying to get ready for the day. She goes to the bus stop. I mean, you know how many kids would be like, free day off of school, but um, yeah,
I'm gonna
sad.
say it's probably sad for you because you have a daughter that's a similar age.
I guess that's true. I mean,
That probably
that
makes it
doesn't
hit a
help.
little bit
Yeah,
harder. For me, it's like, yeah, it's sad, but I don't really care that much.
fair
But
enough.
yeah, then so the next scene we meet this agent, the agent, or so whatever they're called.
The agent in charge. Yeah, so I guess it's worth
Everybody has a
noting.
name, yeah,
Nobody has a like a name. They have
like a
a like
biblical name.
role. Well, they have a role. It's like their job title. So you've got Nicolas Cage plays the cook. Laurence Fishburne, who's the co-star, he plays the man. Leslie Bibb, who also I believe you could say is co-starring, she plays agent in charge. That's who you're referring
Yeah,
to.
nobody has any names, real
Adam
like personal
Goldberg
names.
plays the snitch. Those are kind of the big actors in it. But yeah, we've got the executioner, the boss, the child, the collector, the keeper. Like there's so many.
Yeah, nobody really has any names. So this would be the agent in charge.
Right.
She gets a call that's obviously like related to her personally, where she hears an address and recognizes it. And it turns out that that little girl is her niece, and that her sister or brother, I don't
Uh,
know which one of them, I don't think it's ever clarified,
no.
um, overdosed with their significant other on was presumed to be some sort of laced cocaine or some sort
Right.
of drug. At this point, we don't really know what's going on, but we saw the cocaine right before this. So we're presuming that's going to tie in somehow. So then we go to Colombia, and this mom is going to go drop her daughter off at school. And the person in charge is like, "You're way behind on your payment." And she's like, the mom doesn't even reply to that, I don't think, and says,
No.
uh, I'm going to pick the kids up early. Can you make sure they're ready? But doesn't give a time or anything. And then the headmistress or whatever you want to call her is like, sure, we'll have them ready to go, even though there's been no time discussed. Um,
Look, there's very little dialogue in this movie overall, and when there is dialogue, it's not very good.
right.
And what's weird about this movie is so this movie is directed and written by Jason Cabell. This dude has directed three things and has written two things. Running with the Devil is in both of those lists. And he was co-director and writer in a 2016 film called Smoke Filled Lungs. And then he directed one episode of SEAL Team, the 2022 series. That's it. That's this dude's resume. I don't understand why he got to do this movie with the cast that he got.
Well, I'm presuming they just used money to
But
get the cast.
who's money? Like, I mean,
Well,
like,
Nicolas Cage is because part of his was the
well,
production company.
that's true. Well, and Patriot Films is one of the other production company. This is his fourth time working with Patriot Films, so maybe that had something to do with it. But I mean, if I got my first shot at the director's chair with Nicolas Cage, Laurence Fishburne, Leslie Bibb, Adam Goldberg, I mean, that's a pretty good first day.
Yeah. I want to notate too, we talked about how these people don't have names, they just have titles. And to introduce us to these titles,
Right.
it pauses the movie and then uses like a 1998 impact font thing with like a bang bang to show like
Hmm.
the two names of the title.
The cook,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's like, wow, okay. And but anyway, that bothered me probably more than it should. But
I
um,
also think there's one location title. We get Seattle, and I don't think any other location is given
that's true.
the title on
Well,
screen.
Columbia.
Did
We know
Columbia
that the
get
girl
one?
is in Columbia. Yeah, yeah.
I think that was just
Um,
because of the maps. We get to travel
it
by
might have
map a
been.
lot.
Yeah. So just to keep track of where we're at now with completely unrelated plot lines at this point, we have naked guy on floor getting burned alive potentially, walking through club with cocaine, little girl going to school in pajamas and finding OD'd parents,
Hmm.
uh, a random kid going to school in Colombia,
Hmm.
and now we go to Nic Cage, who has a restaurant where he's wearing a chef jacket and apparently sponsors some sort of girls volleyball team or something.
And seemingly has no other employees.
No other employees.
It's
He's
a
the
full
only one.
restaurant. There's one other woman who looks like maybe she's like the front of house manager or something like that, but that's it. There's no servers, there's no other cooks.
What other movie did he play a chef in, Derek?
Oh, well, you mean Pig.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean to
But
talk
it's
about
a
these
much
two
different
movies in the
it's a much
same
different caliber of chef and pig
God.
though. I mean, but yeah, so this it's just a lot of really random plot lines and you don't really know what role Nick's character is going to play in this. This is a movie about cocaine and now we have a random chef that is sponsoring the girls volleyball team. It is a little weird because the he's talking to like this young girl, sport person, athlete, and she talks about thank you, for helping us. And he's like, I wish I could do more. And she's like, please, we've already remodeled the entire stadium. We've gotten all new jerseys. We've gotten all new equipment. And you're like, this guy is paying for all of that with this restaurant? That seems crazy. And yes, that is crazy. In fact, because he has a whole other money source that he's using to sponsor the girls volleyball team, apparently.
It's
Um,
also never explained why that's where he puts his money. Like, not that there's anything wrong with that, right? But like, there's no explanation for like how does he know these people? We
yeah,
never get any of that information.
no backstory. And I don't even think we really get anything in terms of the cocaine at this point. So from
No.
him. So again, another plot line that seemingly has nothing to do with anything else. Now we get another plot line where we get Laurence Fishburne at a porn shop or something or a strip club where there's a peep show, which I didn't even think existed anymore. Where two women are
Yeah.
basically naked making out and you put money in and he's jerking off because it makes it very clear he stands up and puts his penis against the glass and finishes there while making really interesting noises.
Fun fact, this is the third movie that Nicolas Cage and Lawrence Fishburne are in together. The other two we have covered already, Rumblefish and The Cotton Club.
Yeah, neither of which we loved, and this makes three that we are not the biggest fans of.
Though
uh,
I think I'd still rather watch those two, but we'll get to that.
not Cotton Club for sure for me. I'd rather watch this than Cotton Club, but
Okay. Okay.
uh yeah, my next note is large Colombian drug bust.
Hmm.
So I guess there was a drug bust. We find out that Nick is a drug dealer.
Oh, well, you're talking about, so there's a truck. It's like going down this road, right? And these guys like stop it and kill the driver. There's a helicopter like kills the
Oh
drivers.
yeah.
One dude's running away. The helicopter guy shoots him too. And then a bunch of dudes come out of the brush and stuff. Like this was like a sting operation
Right. It was
of
very
so
weird. Again, with like this, how is this related?
we get
Other
a
than it's a cocaine bust, like we don't really know if this because the only thing we really find out about this is that somebody is cutting down the cocaine.
right.
And
Yeah.
but we never hear about like supply chain issues which this I would think being busted by feds or whatever these people were would be that. We don't really hear anything about that. It's just a random shot.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and this is jumping ahead a little bit, right? But the whole point of this is that supply chain issue. But it seems like there's a lot of supply chain issues that are all kind of just randomly happening, right? Sometimes they get stopped and the truck gets, destroyed essentially. Sometimes a dude's, takes a bump off of a brick and so, it's just enough to come up on the scale. Like, I don't know, like it just seems like
Ultimately, this is a movie, and I'm not being funny when I say this. Ultimately, this is a movie that is really just about the journey of cocaine from
yeah,
Colombia to
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like showing potential issues on the way. It's a very weird choice for a movie. Like there's no hero really in the movie by the end. Spoiler alert.
Not really, because like her story, like Leslie Bibb, she's the agent in charge. She's supposed to be the hero,
Right,
but
because
her
that's ruined
story
by
is,
the end.
I mean, kind of, but her story is also sidelined through most of the movie.
Yeah. Like no, like the fact that her sister or brother died is never really
I
a plot
assume
point.
that's supposed to be like why she does what she does at the end, and we'll get to that. But
Sure, but like you would think that that would be an emotional thing that you could bring back during the movie, and it's never really brought up.
I agree.
Um, so yeah, there's that weird scene of the bust, but then we find out that Nick is a drug dealer. Um, well, we don't really know if is he a dealer or is he just like quality assurance or what is he?
So that's the thing. So his name, he's called the Cook. So
Which I thought
theoretically,
would he would be making the cocaine, but he's not.
exactly, but he's not. But you're right. He's the quality control guy because that's what's happening is that the supply that's showing up is short and it keeps being short and they want to know where this problem is. So now he's got to leave his extremely pregnant wife to go figure out the supply chain issue. That's a different job than his name implies.
Yeah.
But again, like nobody calls
But
each other by
I
these
think it's
names either.
the cook because he is a chef, but I thought it would be the chef in
But
that
nobody
certain.
else is really
It's
named
true.
that
Off their
way,
profession unrelated to the drugs.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, then again, I guess Laurence Fishburne's character is just
The
the
man.
man,
Yeah.
which I mean, he is a man. There's lots of men in the movie,
True.
so I don't know.
Mostly men in the
It's
movie,
mostly
really.
men. God.
So yeah, he we don't really know what he is, but he's definitely related to the cocaine thing. But yeah, he I don't think we find out we talked to his wife quite yet. Oh yeah, well it was pretty right around this part. But basically, yeah, he gets a call saying that our coke is not coming in the amounts that it's supposed to. We need you to go down and figure out what the problem is. And so he goes home and talks to his, like you said, very pregnant wife, and she said, "I thought you were out of this," implying that he doesn't have to go do this quality assurance thing very often.
Right.
And he's like, "Well, I just got to go do this."
It's an administrative thing, he
Yeah.
says. Now, look, I work in corporate. I do a lot of administrative stuff. This is not what he does here is not administrative.
I'm gonna be honest too, like this whole scene with his wife could have been easily cut out. There's no reason for it. It's not, it doesn't give you like more sympathy for the character. Um,
But there's a lot of that though. There's even like so there's the woman who she's taking her kids to school and says she's going
yeah,
to pick them up
again,
early.
no more.
But right after that, we get the guy we find out later is her husband, just like on a motorcycle picking up a weed whacker.
We find out that he's the father of the kids.
Later,
We
right? But
don't
like
know that he's the her
but
husband or anything.
he could have just shown up with the weed whacker. I didn't need to see him go and get it. I believe he has access to a weed whacker.
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like I don't need to see how that happened.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of that though, like where there's just kind of
To
non
be fair, it was only
sequiturs.
an hour and 40 minutes long, so they probably felt like they had to pad the runtime a little bit.
Maybe. I mean,
But
that's
yeah,
certainly, especially with the way the movie ends versus begins. I think you're probably right.
yeah. So when the woman drops her kids off at the school, she says that she has to pick them up because they got to go do work on the farm. Well, then we go back to her picking the kids up from school, and they go to a farm, and we find out now that it's a cocaine farm. Like they manufacture cocaine there. And so these kids are going and filling bags. I don't know how cocaine works. I've never
I
really looked into it. So seeing all of this could have been accurate or inaccurate, and I would have no idea. But they go and pick bags of leaves, and then these leaves are turned into cocaine. Like we see the whole process of the guy like taking a weed whacker and weeding, like making all the leaves smaller and then like spreading them out and then smashing them and then putting some powder on them. And like, you don't really know what's, unless you're really into manufacturing of marijuana, of cocaine, you probably don't know what's going on, but you're just assuming that this is what's happening. Um, then we cut to Laurence Fishburne's character doing a multi-day cocaine and sex bender, where we see him have sex with two women in a lot of different positions. I mean, the shot is actually kind of cool, where we have him like his head in the foreground, like doing the cocaine, and in the background, it's like in like sped up time
Hmm.
of everything that's happening in the house. Um, but yeah, it's mostly just him like doing these women
Over and over
randomly.
and over again.
Yeah, for the way the sun goes down and comes back up, it's multiple days.
Hmm.
Um, but then he has the snitch come over and he's gonna go have sex with the hookers. And then goes in and finds out that they're dead. Oh, and Laurence Fishburne at this point, when he's going in to go have sex with the hookers, the snitch guy, Laurence Fishburne's character goes, "Save some for me," as if the vagina is gonna run out. Like, I don't think that's how it works.
I think he was just trying to be funny,
You sure, but it was just a weird
but
thing to say.
it,
Also, like, this is how you guys bro out. You just like let he gets to have sex with these women for multiple days, and then you go in there for like a one off, and you
I don't
save
know,
some
man.
for him. It's a
But
weird situation.
this is a part of society I think you and I are just not familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, if that was you offering that to me, I'd probably be like, I'm good. I'm good. You can have it
Okay.
all. I'm saving it. I'm saving it for you by not partaking. I'm
Oh,
good.
thank you, thank you. You're a
Yeah,
good
you're welcome.
friend.
I know.
Yeah.
I know I am. Oh yeah, so one thing I did find funny is too is that when there is nudity in this movie, but most of the time they seem to go out of their way to cover it up.
Yeah.
Like when he finds these dead hookers, sex workers, prostitutes, whatever you want to call them, one of them died with her long black hair strategically laying over her nipples, which I thought was hilarious.
Well, because like what's interesting about it, this is a rated R movie, but not for nudity. It is not
Well, but
rated.
there is a nipple shown in one at one point.
Is
So
there?
yeah, when they're having it's funny because I didn't notice this. My partner that I was watching the movie was like, does that count as nudity, seeing one nipple? And I was like, yeah, there was a nipple, and she goes, yeah, how did you not notice that? I'm like, I
I mean,
don't know.
I didn't notice it. And the movie is not is rated for sexual content, not for nudity. So that may have just, I mean, could that have been missed, I guess? I mean,
I don't know. Maybe we got the unrated version. But
I mean, I don't see it listed on the IMDb either. So I don't know. I mean, obviously we see a dude's butt and we learn later whose it is, but that's from my perspective the only real nudity that we see.
well, it was just funny to me that this one hooker died with her long hair covering her nipples.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not traditionally how death works, but you know, in this case. Um yeah, and so Lawrence Fishburne is like, I need you to take care of these bodies because I have to go to my child's recital, which again was completely unnecessary. The recital, anything related to this relationship with his daughter, and his ex-wife or whatever she is, like that has no bearing on anything that happens in the story after this point. So
I mean, the only thing I could think of is, he keeps showing himself as being like fairly together in the drug world, and maybe this was just supposed to show how he doesn't really have it together.
maybe.
Because like he's always like he's so cool, and he's like talking about hey my man, and like he's like wearing the cool
But does the
suits with the
fact that he's not
cigar,
that
and
cool change the movie for you in any way?
not me because I don't think the movie's well executed, but I think that's what the goal was.
Okay. Um, so the guy goes to go. Oh, so before this happens, we cut back to Colombia, and the guy has now made a bunch of kilos of cocaine, and he's just hiking through the jungle with kilos of cocaine on his back
By himself.
by himself. And he randomly runs into these guys that are like, "What's up?" And then he shoots them.
Well, they want his bag. Now, either, he doesn't want them to know he has cocaine, or they already know that that's what he has. It's unclear, exactly what they know, right? But then that's like, so this dude has to cross like who knows how many miles by himself with like a handgun.
Yeah. Yeah, and we haven't quite that far yet, but he's going to go meet Nick.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's the goal, so Nick can look at it. But the snitch is going to go try and take care of the. I guess one of the hookers was alive,
Yeah.
barely.
One of them was still alive. And by the way, like, so I watched with closed captioning on, and it ruined Adam Goldberg's character because I didn't know what his name was. But it says, the snitch. And then he starts talking, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I know what he's gonna do.
Right. Well, he apparently decides that it's a good idea to go to the hospital.
Oh my God.
And so he's sitting in the hospital parking lot with two women that look very dead,
Not the parking
not
lot. He's
moving,
in front of the front door, like where
like
you
the
like
drop
drop
off.
off for like emergencies. Okay.
Yeah. And with two women that look very dead. I mean, I
In the
don't
front
know.
seat,
The
sharing
one
a
that
seat.
was quote unquote still alive, we don't see her move, breathe, blink, nothing.
No, she's in bad
Um,
shape.
yeah. And so, but of course, since he's at the hospital, there's a cop car like right 10 feet away from him, and they watch him do a bump of cocaine uh right there while he's sitting there, and they go arrest him because
What an
that's
idiot.
this character.
That's this.
We're meant to believe that this is a realistic character that could exist in this life.
Right? Like it just makes no sense.
So yeah, um the guy shows up to meet Nick with the coke. Um we hear Nick speak some Spanish to the guy.
Hmm.
So we have a bingo card that we do every week with these movies, and that's on the bingo card is Nick speaks foreign language, or it's a possibility of a square on a bingo card is Nick
Yeah.
speaks a foreign language. Um, but also Nick wears glasses, which I think we've already gotten at this point, and maybe one or two other ones.
Yep.
Um, and then we see so every time we see Nick's at a stop with this cocaine, he takes a little bit of it out and puts it in like a beaker. And if the beaker stays clear, then it's good. And if it turns a different color, then he knows that this is the person that's cutting it.
Right.
Apparently,
Yeah, he
it's
knows
never
some
really
it's been
explained.
it's been tampered with. Like so there's two issues going on. Somebody is cutting it with other stuff. That's issue number one because now there's this whole like group of people who are just like ODing constantly and stuff like that. But then on top of that, not as much of it is getting to the destination, which means some of it is going missing. So it's two different issues.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So yeah, that's what's happening. I believe you because I remember not nearly as much as you do about this movie. It was just instantly forgettable.
That's fair.
Um,
I don't blame you.
the guy with that is now transporting the cocaine because they passed it off to another person at this point,
It is worth noting that Nick is not alone. He's traveling with a guy whose name is the Executioner,
who is one of the actors from Yellowstone, if you've ever seen that, Cole Hauser.
and he works directly for the boss, played by Barry Pepper. And so he's like the number two muscle guy, and he's been tasked to go along with Nick.
Yeah, and we don't know, like they don't really have any scenes showing why this guy is such a feared badass. He
Nope.
just kind of shows up and does stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Um so the guy that's now transporting the coke makes a pit stop at a strip club, as you do.
Sure, why not? Just have a
Um
ton of drugs on your back.
yeah. Is this where the one gets stolen?
Yeah, so two things happen here. One brick gets stolen, and he also uses some of a brick,
Right, in the bathroom with a guy, and
who
then
ends up
the
stealing it.
steals the he takes a brick of it. Which we will come back to later. I
Right.
have in my notes to come back to. Um so somebody drops the F word slur for a gay person
But in Spanish.
in Spanish, but
Yeah.
that's still casual discrimination as my
Oh,
count,
sure. Yeah, yeah.
which is on our bingo card. So I thought that was interesting. That's the first time I think we've had that in a different language. We've had it in a lot of Nic Cage
It's
movies, sadly, but
that's very possible that it is the first time it's in a different language. That's a good point.
so the guy shows up at this like big villa with the Coke,
Right.
and he's the rich guy that owns this villa is one of those weird, creepy rich people. And he is like, "Do you want some pork? I've been smoking it for 15 hours."
Well, before that, he's weighing in the cocaine,
Yeah,
and it does come in short, right? It's supposed to be whatever it is, a kilo or whatever per brick, and it comes in at zero point 0.8,
yeah.
right? And I think we're supposed to know that another brick is also missing. I don't know if that comes
It
up or
never
not,
is
but
mentioned.
yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. But it is short, and the guy makes a comment about how, that's happened to him a few times.
Yeah. And so he lets the guy eat some of this pork, and he's like, what do you think?" And he's like, "You need sauce, right?" And so he goes in and gets the sauce, and then like to us, it's the most obvious thing because he pulls up a knife and he's like, if you can see me, I'm just like waving it in the air in the window behind the guy. And then when the guy turns to look, he's just like got a bottle of sauce and he's like shaking it. So then he comes out and pours sauce all over this guy's steak, which hurt my soul. And then immediately pulls the guy's head back and just like slits his throat. And uh, Nick shows up
Well, you're skipping a crazy part though. So the dude wipes the knife on his clothes and then
and then eats
uses the
it. Yeah,
knife to
I
cut
have
his
that.
food.
Eating pork with murder knife
It's
was
so
my.
messed up.
But then Nick has or either Nick or the executioner has a bite of it too. Well, even though
The
it probably has the
executioner
guy's
does.
blood all over it.
Yeah, the executioner does. Nick doesn't do
It's
that.
I can't imagine it's good with that much sauce on it. Like, listen, if you're putting a ton of sauce on your steak,
It's
that
well,
steak wasn't or
it's
that pork.
pork. It's pork.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
pork.
I would need to know more about what the sauce was and what he was trying to, because he said he had smoked it for like
15
15
hours. If
hours or
you
something.
smoked pork for 15 hours and it's seasoned properly,
You
then
don't
you
need
shouldn't
sauce.
need that much sauce. Like, come
No,
on.
I mean that's certainly
You're
true,
just
but
covering up the taste. And you're
I think
if you're smoking pork, Derek, if you're smoking pork for 15 hours, you're doing it because that pork is going to come out and be delicious without anything else.
I think it was just meant to mess with the dude.
Sure, but then the other guy, I would have believed that, but then the other guy comes and eats some of it that
Well,
has the
maybe he is
sauce all
hungry.
over
Like
it.
I doubt that Nick and the executioner are walking around, looking for a McDonald's or whatever. He's probably just hungry.
I mean, maybe. Um, my next note is bribing Mexican police.
Uh-huh.
Was that when so
So,
they replace the guy, they say we're going to need another runner.
right.
So then they have another guy.
Who
Um,
clearly has never done anything illegal ever before in his life.
yeah,
He
he's
is
super
freaking
nervous.
out.
Yeah, but he gets on a bus, and
hmm
this is the bribe, right? This is
Yeah,
what
so
okay.
the bus, there's like a huge checkpoint. And one of the FBI agents, not the agent in charge, but this other guy who I don't even know what his character's name
If
is.
he had one.
Maybe he's number one. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But he's there, right? So you're like, oh, okay, so they're gonna get caught or whatever. But yeah, they've bribed one of the kind of the checkpoint guy because there's a symbol that's like a devil symbol that's on all the stuff related to this cocaine supply chain. So clearly
Yeah.
they've bought off a bunch of people, And look, and as the movie goes on, we haven't mentioned this. Each stage along the way, we're told how much now a kilo is worth.
Yeah.
So as we go, it gets more and more expensive. I think originally the first price is like 1,600 a kilo or something like that. And by the time it reaches the States, it's like 24,000 a kilo. I
Right.
think, right? And then it's like 40 when it gets to Canada, which just seems like, I don't know how accurate any of that is. It all seems kind of crazy to me to get what ends up being is like one backpack of cocaine. Just seems like a crazy amount of work, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um, so yeah, the guy's on the bus and he gets stopped by the police or whoever it is, and they have everybody stack their bags off to the side, and they have this drug sniffing dog come over and sniff the bags, and the dog clearly is barking at this guy's bag, but the police officer pulls the bag next to it
Right.
and is like, "Nope, you're good." And none of the other people were second guess that really, until they do. But then they put the guy back on the bus and send him on his way. And
And a few cars back is Nick and the executioner. So they're,
Yes.
continuing to follow the supply chain.
Right. And at some point they like the bus gets pulled over by somebody, or I mean it's not the bus, something is they get pulled over and Nick gets out and they like kill the
Oh, this is later. So this gets dropped off next to a guy who's going to transport it in a truck.
yeah.
And he I don't does the hotel bit happen? That must happen after. Yeah, so there's like another checkpoint, but some dudes kill the cops,
Yeah.
right? And so they're gonna try and, like, I guess,
Steal the coke.
steal the cocaine, just like we saw probably, earlier. And that's when Nick and the executioner show up and essentially save this guy,
Yeah.
which is
So that
lucky.
happens. I don't think I have any notes about that because it's just another like small thing that happens among this like huge travel. But then we get to the hard part where they have to cross the country lines, right? Which turns out is actually extremely easy. You just put it in a small airplane, drive in a or fly in a big circle, go over California, and let somebody
Well,
skydive out over Nevada.
there's some stuff in the middle there though. Like, you got this dude has to then get it to a guy who's gonna put it on a boat. And then there's this whole thing on the boat, and this guy gets like motion sick, and he's throwing up on the boat or whatever. And then they get to the airplane guy. So, like, that takes it. The boat gets you from South America to Mexico, and
Yeah,
then the plane gets you from Mexico to the United States.
right.
And
But really,
one
all you have to
dude,
do is just like circle around, and you're good to go.
and then a guy is gonna parachute. One guy is gonna parachute out of an airplane into the desert.
Within 50 feet of where Nicolas Cage is camping.
I just, again, like, I don't know, but this seems like a impractical way to make money.
And yet, here we are. But anyway, we this is where I checked off Nick shoots a gun because he does kill some bunnies, even though it's off screen. It's implied that he shoots these rabbits. Although he
Yeah,
does shoot a gun later, so it doesn't really matter. But
no,
yeah,
but
this is where we crossed it off. But yeah, he's got like some bunnies cooking when this guy lands with his parachute 50 feet away from him, and yeah, and
he
he
tests the
tests the
cocaine
yeah,
again. They're testing it every step of the way, see who's essentially
and we
who's
know at this point that it's Laurence Fishburne doing it
we
because
do. Yeah.
he talks about it to the snitch guy. He's like, I've been mixing it and I think I've got it almost right. And the hooker's dying means I'm so close.
Yeah, he just has to get the mixture right or
Right.
whatever he says.
Yeah. And then my next note is just Seattle. I don't remember exactly what happens. Somehow he gets to Seattle.
He drives. So, yeah, so at this point Nick takes the drugs and drives them from this place in the desert. I forget if it was in, like, Nevada or
In
Utah or
Nevada.
whatever
It
it was.
was
Yeah.
Nevada,
And then he drives it up to Seattle.
yeah. Um, and that's where he meets up with Laurence Fishburne, right?
Well, so at the same time, while this is happening, Leslie Bibb's character, the agent in charge,
There's
gets
more and more deaths from this cut coke.
and the snitch is in police custody, but she has him released so that way she can abduct him. Now, I think she's FBI. I think she's part of a three letter organization. So she abducts the snitch, and on her own with no other help, which, seems like a bad idea, but whatever, has essentially strung him up in his underwear and is kind of torturing him to get him
But
to
not
turn.
really, just like letting him exist there.
Kinda.
She's not hurting him or anything. He's just kind of there and cold. And
Yeah,
she just
he's
sits there reading the newspaper. This movie was made in 2019, and
yeah.
there's a lot of shots of people reading newspapers. Which
Uh-huh.
when was the last time you actually saw somebody read a newspaper, Derek?
I I couldn't even tell you.
It has to be at least 15 years for me, I would think.
I don't know about that, but I mean,
Reading a newspaper
I don't
in
know, man.
public,
I don't know. 15 years is a long time.
it's not that long. We've known each other 10, and I'm pretty sure that I've never seen anybody read a newspaper in the 10 years we've known each other.
The next time we record, I'm just gonna, by the time you pop on, I'm just gonna have a newspaper here.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Then that'll reset the counter.
um, no, but so she's gotten him to agree to basically be bugged. And he and Laurence Fishburne and Nicolas Cage are going to take these drugs to wherever they need to be next, and essentially is going to be leading them into a trap.
Yeah.
Okay, because she wants the cook,
Right.
right? But Nick's a smart guy. He
He's
notices stuff, right? Takes over driving, all that jazz, and kills the snitch.
right. And he also, at some point in there, finds a bag of Coke, or he grabs a bag of Coke when he meets up with Lawrence Fishburne. He had some just sitting
Oh,
out on the
right, yeah,
table. He grabs a bag of Coke and he tests that and finds out that it's Lawrence Fishburne's character that is cutting the Coke.
right. And they supposedly go way back, these two.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Nick kills the snitch, pulls over, just shoots him a couple of times, and then there's a really weird scene of a guy we never see again that just shows up, switches out the cars, and takes the body for like a stack of money.
Yeah, he's the helper. I don't know what his character's name is, but he's just
Right, but
there
like
to.
we could have just said like it could have been a phone call going, "Can you deal with this?" Yes, and then we don't need that scene. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, yeah. Well, again, I think they're padding a lot of
it's
this.
just a it's just a weird scene.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, then they go in order to get into Canada, they're like hiking across in the forest,
And it's
crossing
just
over the border.
right. It's just Lawrence Fishburne and Nicolas Cage.
So remember when we read the uh description of this movie and it said uh two of his most regarded executives. We is unsure at this point whether that's Nick and the executioner or Nick and Lawrence Fishburne's character.
I think it has to be Nick and the Executioner, right? Because they're the two trusted people. They're the
But
ones who are
he's not even
going
a
in.
star of the movie. He doesn't even have a line, I don't think.
He's got a few lines, but
Barely.
they're minor lines. They're like the plane's leaving, or things
Yeah,
like that. Like, but I mean, but it's got to be them because the man, Lawrence Fishburne's character, is not trusted,
that's true. But he doesn't
right?
it doesn't say trusted, it says regarded.
Uh, I mean, I maybe semantics a little bit here, but
But you
I
love semantics.
but he doesn't seem regarded either, right? He like this is a dude who like Nick is checking up on, and doesn't even really get any help. That's why the snitch is involved in the first place, is because the man needs help. So I think it's supposed to be the cook and the executioner.
Fair enough. So they're using snowmobiles really for a long part of this journey. What I found hilarious was they go to hide the snowmobiles and they like put two branches. They like cut two branches off of a tree and put it like
And
lay it on the front.
like
There's like
a
a tarp,
a tarp, yeah.
but like you can clearly tell these are not hidden at all. It's like why even bother putting two fresh branches
I
over
don't
this?
know.
It makes it stand out more, if nothing else. Like your trees don't just lose green branches,
I don't
you
know,
know?
man.
No, it's weird. But we find out because Nick confronts the man about cutting the cocaine, and we find out that he's cutting it with fentanyl and heroin,
Right,
which apparently fentanyl was just as big a deal in 2019 as it is today.
I guess.
Um, so there's this like long Canadian hike through the woods.
Again, like, is
Um,
this like this just seems so impractical to me. Like, I want to point out for a second, okay? Let's just do some math. I think there were 8 to 10 bricks. And I know this because we get to see the trucker dude put them in an air vent before he goes to the strip club. And there were either 8 or 10 because he had
yeah,
2 stacks of them. Okay. When they get to the end, the movie tells us that's 40,000 a kilo. That means somewhere between 320 and $400,000. That seems like a ton of work for 400 grand when there are like 8 people on the way in this across multiple countries. You need a boat, you need an airplane. Like, how much profit is there in this?
you should ask a drug dealer. I don't
It
know.
just it just seems like the most insane way to make money.
I mean, clearly there's money in it because there's a lot of rich cocaine dealers out there.
Well, that's why it calls into question how realistic this
Well,
is,
I
because it
think it's
just
a movie. So yes, I would
like
say unrealistic.
it just seems just like too impractical, too hanging by a thread. I mean, in 2 different occasions, people just essentially try and steal the cocaine anyway, right? And you got people cutting it, you got people tasting it. Like it just seems crazy.
Nick is constantly pulling some out to test. Come on. Anyway, yeah. So on this Canadian hike, Laurence Fishburne falls through some ice into or trips into
I think he
a
slips. Yeah.
stream, and somehow the backpack that was around his arms on his back comes off during this,
Yep.
which I'm not sure how that happens. And Nick runs back to save him, and then realizes the bag is gone. And he says they have to find the bag, but instead of just like following the stream that it headed down, they just keep going the same direction.
But again, this goes into the impracticality of it too, because they're out in the wilderness. If everything had gone according to plan, Nick wouldn't have even been involved in this, right? So you're telling me that like if an accident does actually happen, you just kill everybody involved and start
That's how
over?
you set up the Cocaine Bear movie.
Well, yeah, that's funny.
Um,
But seriously, like you just kill everybody involved and start over anytime there's a mistake?
yes.
Okay.
Um, so then they get up on a cliff at some point while they're hiking. What, even though they're not anywhere near a cliff where the bag was lost that Nick said they needed to find, they keep going the opposite direction and end up on a cliff where
It's like
Nick
in Jurassic Park.
falls.
Okay, it's where the cliff in Jurassic Park and the T-Rex just shows
Gotcha.
up. That's yeah.
Nick is falls and is hanging off the cliff. Uh, and Lawrence Fishburne is like, "Nah, man, I'm just gonna take your pack. It's all good,"
Yeah,
and
he
lets him
Lion
fall.
Kings him.
Yeah, he's
Long
scarred.
live the king.
Right. And so he takes the pack and then he starts walking himself and finds his pack conveniently, even though he's
Yay.
nowhere near where the downstream area of this river was. Um, yeah. So he eventually ends up getting picked up by the henchman for the final boss. And
Now, here's the problem, man. From this point forward, the rest of the movie makes zero sense.
the movie has made zero sense
No, there's
prior to
been
this. You've been arguing about how it's nonsensical this
well, no,
whole time.
I think the business plan seems impractical, but the logic of okay, well, you got on this boat and this boat took you to Mexico, and then you got on an airplane, like it's at least like step by step. What happens here, I have no explanation for. This is the weirdest con game string along that just takes forever. I don't understand it.
I don't know. But he shows up to the big boss,
He's
who
called the
is
boss.
the boss, who's received all of the backpack and gone through it and everything.
Meanwhile, there's been a couple of scenes with this guy and like some military leader of some kind. It's very unclear what ever comes of any of that, if anything. I don't even know.
Yeah, more scenes that don't lead to anything.
Right?
But the first thing is he tells the man that it's all there, which is hilarious because at least 1 kilo got stolen and like people have been bumping off of it this whole
Uh,
time.
no, he means since the last checkpoint. Right, because obviously, because Nick's been checking in along the way, so they already know what's been lost by the time they get to Seattle.
I guess it's just
Right?
that there's never any point where Nick is like, "We lost 1 kilo" on the phone,
No, I mean,
and the guy at the you even said a guy where the with the murder knife, he doesn't even register that there's 1 kilo missing. He just measures that one brick.
I'm assuming that's when that
You're
happened,
assuming.
but the movie does not do a good
That's what
job.
I'm saying. Is he's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, it's all there," but we know that 1 kilo got stolen, and nobody ever acknowledged that. So that I thought that was funny. Um, So then he's like, okay, we'll come back later and we'll pay you or something along those lines. And then the agent confronts the boss guy,
hmm
and he just basically mocks her the whole time and tells her there's nothing he can do or she can do, which is true. She doesn't end up really doing anything about it. Um,
Based on the end of the movie, though, I can think of something she could have done.
sure. Um, so then we go back to the beginning of the movie,
Jesus Christ.
which is where we find out the guy with the bagged head at the beginning of the movie and the blood was Laurence Fishburne,
hmm
who has been taken into drug dealer custody. And at one point, the executioner goes and like cuts some skin off his arm and feeds it to the dog for some reason. It doesn't really add anything to the movie. It's just gross.
I have no idea what that is for.
Yeah, because they make sure to show it, and then that's what the blood was from on the ground that we saw.
Hmm.
But yeah, then we see the same scene of them like marching this guy out to this really elaborate burning alive system. Except now it goes longer, and we see them pull the hood off of him, and it's revealed Nick is still alive, even though he fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Dun dun
There was
dun.
no wildebeest to stomp him to finish him
That's
off.
right. That's right.
He just landed, and Scar would have survived if the wildebeest hadn't been there. Um,
Mufasa.
oh yeah, Scar to Mufasa. Dude, I saw that movie once when I was like 12. Okay, I
Oh,
don't
come
remember
on.
it. Um, but yeah, he's like on crutches and everything. But they have this whole elaborate thing to kill Laurence Fishburne set up, and they light up the pallets on fire, and he's like screaming in agony, still alive, and then Nick shoots him. I'm like, what's the point of setting this whole thing up? I mean, literally, it's probably 30-foot circle of
Dude,
pallets
it's so much
around
more
him.
than that though. Lawrence Fishburne is in Canada. He's in Canada. Okay? They bring him all the way back down to South America.
Yeah.
Okay, step by step, we watch him like he goes. They set him up in a nice hotel. He's got the nice suits and the cigars. He meets with the boss a couple of times. Like,
We see the scene where it was him in the beginning that handed those girls the
right,
drugs.
yeah, he's the one who did that, right? Like, so he's like partying, having this great time, just to bring him down there to set up this whole elaborate torture thing.
Just to kill him very quickly instead of like let him die slowly like the plan was.
So Nick, who fell off of a cliff, mind you, he
Also had to
travels
travel, yeah.
all the way down to prove a point. Like, I don't what, I don't know what that's for. And then meanwhile, the other agent is like watching this happen.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where he and Nick are in the bathroom at the airport together, which leads to nothing.
Nothing.
Has no
Yeah.
point.
He's like combing his mustache because any agent in a bathroom in any movie that has a mustache, he has to have a mustache comb to do that in the airport bathroom. That's just a rule.
It's another scene that doesn't do anything.
No. And then we get another after the Laurence Fishburne murder. We go back and get another scene with his wife, with
Mm-hmm.
Nick's wife. That is fine, I guess.
Yeah, he's back home. He references the necklace he was wearing that has some type of significance. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and so then he goes back to work in his kitchen, and all is seemingly fine until the agent shows up, and they have a little discussion, and then she shoots him and kills him, and then roll credits, and then it's not actually credits, fake out. We find out that now the kids' tuition has been paid in full.
Right.
Now roll credits.
And
That was
the dad is still running the
Yeah.
cocaine farm
Because
apparently.
of everything that happened in the movie. That's what you're concerned about.
We haven't seen the guy in an hour.
He wasn't a main character, so who
Yeah,
cares?
nothing happened that would make me think he wasn't still doing that.
Yeah, it's yeah,
And that's the end of the
that's
movie.
the end. Yep,
It's terrible, man.
not ideal.
This is a bad movie.
I'm surprised it's as high as it is on IMDb, to be
It's a
honest.
5.4. I don't understand.
Well, maybe we can shed some light on that, because usually at this point in the podcast, I go through some reviews and we kind of see if maybe our own little bubble is just biased or if maybe we're not giving it a fair shake. So should I start with 1-star reviews or 10-star reviews on this one?
Let's start with the ones and then we'll end
Start
on
with
a high
ones.
note. All right.
Okay, let's see here. The one that people on IMDb have deemed the most helpful for 1-star reviews is from a person named Dark Bites. Awful movie. The director completely lost track of the timing and the temp. It's as if he fell asleep during the shoot. There's absolutely no suspense, no drama, no sense of danger or otherwise. It's almost a collection of vignettes that is no connected well. The director should never be allowed in front of the camera. I don't think the directors are in front of the camera. I think the actors are, but the story seemed kind of interesting, but the result is boring, inert, and absurd. Please don't watch this movie. I agree that they could have made an interesting movie with the same subject matter, but this was not it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, from Save Serenity blog, shout out. Not only is the movie just a bunch of random scenes patched together, the dialogue is sparse and still pointless. It's so boring that I kept waiting for something good to happen and it never delivered. The acting wasn't terrible, just everything else. Absolutely everything else. Um, AMR Mariad says, I have nothing to say except that Nicolas Cage isn't even trying to act anymore. Seems unfair, but this one's good. It's more like Nicolas Cage and Laurence Fishburne are both running with paychecks. This is a very long review, so I'm not going to go through it all. It's from Nicholas17. Um, that starts out as, come on, people, this is most worstest film I have ever seen, and film is trying too hard. I like movies, drug trafficking in Mexico and all that. In this movie, what I like is just two actors are not really that much in movie, and the way that cocaine travels from A to B was amazing. I like
Okay.
the way the price kept going up as it reaches its destination. But this film, are you serious? Because I thought this film, no great performance or phenomenal performance. Don't ever expect that at all. Now you can see why I don't want to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So moving on to the 10 out of 10s, just to see, I'm assuming that there will be some. Um, yes, there are 8 10 out of 10s. The one that people would say is most helpful of the 10 out of 10s is from a person named W.R. Bettis. And he said, his title is New Content Alert, Educational, Thrilling, and Unique. Can't recall Fishburne in a role like this. Nails the depressed, hustling smuggler addict. Love Collins as the farmer, too. Makes you fall in love with his small family farm operation. Could be anything tobacco, bamboo, just happens to be cocaine. Love how it demonstrates
Jesus.
how the kilo value increases the further north it goes, as does the death toll. It's never been broken down for the audience like this before. Fresh character performances and storyline echo all the way through. More of this in Hollywood, please.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I don't know.
clown baby 06006 says ignore the haters. This is a solid drama with bits of action. A great cast. Every character plays their part in the story's web. With Cage films, you need to add at least a point or two on the IMDb rating, and that's its true rating.
Oh
A lot
God.
of Cage haters out there, pretty sure making multiple accounts to rate down his films. Sad. And for our last one here, Colson Baker says this movie could be played in every intro to criminology course at every university. It is a crash course on the cocaine trade, from production to consumption. Watch it. You won't be disappointed.
All right.
Does that change
Well,
your opinion at all, Derek? Any of
it
those?
it makes me feel more dug in on my opinion. I think than anything else.
It does make me doubt the human race a little bit
A
more than
little
I
a little
did
bit.
before I read that.
I think that's fair. All right. Well, now it's our turn to rate the movie. If you've been following along, we have our Cage-O-meter. We rate our movies on a 20-point scale for overall quality and overall caginess. 1 is low, 20 is high. For this one, I mean, this is not a good movie. This is a bad movie. It's not completely incoherent, which there have been some that have been completely incoherent, but this is not good. I'm going to put this all the way down at, I think I'm going to give it a 3.
Oof.
Now, I gave Jujitsu a 3, just for comparison's sake here, but I gave Left Behind a 4, and I'd rather watch Left Behind.
Oof.
Just for that sake. And we gave
We're
Arsenal a 4, and at least he's more interesting in Arsenal. So
Yeah, I'm gonna be right at a 4 on this one too. Well, you're a 3, right?
I'm a
So
3.
I'm a 4 on this one. I don't
Okay.
think it's worse than Arsenal, but it's definitely not better either.
I mean,
So
that's fair. I went back and forth on it. I feel like it's just a little worse than the stuff I've given a 4. And
we're
so,
way off from IMDb on this one. Usually
yeah.
we're somewhat close, but not on this one.
No. No, because I mean, we have a 20-point scale, so you have to kind of cut our numbers in half.
Yeah,
And so if it's got a 5.4 on IMDb, ours on IMDb would be 1.75.
yeah, big
So,
difference.
yeah. Now we've got caginess. There is very little, if any.
No, he plays it pretty straight.
right? Like there's a scene where he gets a little angry and maybe a little bit in there, but this is like I don't know. Like I hesitate to give it a one. I'm just gonna give
A
it a
two
two.
is where I was at. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I think two is fair.
There you go. So a two on caginess and a 3.5 on quality, which puts it squarely at the bottom of the probably shouldn't watch quadrant of movies.
Yeah,
So there you have it there. If you want to see how we've ranked all of our movies, we have an interactive Cageometer. You can go to comingofcage.com and see all of our movies plotted out there. It does lag behind the show by a couple of episodes because we want you to listen to the show. But there you have it there. Next, we have to replace Running with the Devil on our Wheel O Cage. So we spin our Wheel O Cage every episode, before every episode to figure out which movie we're going to watch next. And Running with the Devil has to leave the wheel, and replacing it and joining the wheel, becoming eligible, is Color Out of Space. Color Out of Space, which is done by the same director who did that one movie that
Mandy.
Mandy, thank you. Yeah, the one movie. So that is now eligible for the wheel. We've got some great stuff on the wheel right now. Kick-Ass, The Wicker Man. We've got Wild at Heart, Long Legs. So a few more out there too. We usually keep like 14 or so movies on the wheel. So check out our Wheel O Cage spin to find out what we are talking about next time on the show. Don't forget to also check out Cage O Bingo. We play custom Nicolas Cage themed bingo as we watch these movies. Did we get a bingo for Running with the Devil? You will have to check it out. Go to comingofcage.com for all of our links to see that. Ryan, anything else for Running with the Devil?
Remember to save some vagina for Laurence Fishburne.